Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters of IQRA TV, welcome back again to Real Talk. We've been talking about the massacre, the genocide of Muslim men and boys in the first part of the program that took place in Srebrenica almost about 25 years ago, when in 1 week 8,375 young men and boys were collected together and killed systematically. It's been described as one of the worst genocides that has taken, in fact the worst genocide since World War II. There were others in total killed, around 200,000 that were killed in the conflict in Bosnia, but this is something that happened on an unprecedented scale, and is something that is remembered on a regular basis every year, thanks to the initiative of the European Council and the European Parliament. And our government has also adopted the 11th of July as a Remembrance Day for the victims of Srebrenica. And I've got two eminent guests. I've got Brother Iyad, who came from Bosnia. He's settled in Yorkshire, and Brother Javed Bashir from Bradford, who's an ambassador for the Remembering Srebrenica initiative. We've talked about how it happened, why it happened, etc. In the next few minutes, can we talk about where we need to go next, what lessons we've learned from the past? And Javed, I mean, within our Asian community, I said there's a disconnect, I think. What do we need to do to bring this issue at the forefront of our communities? Because I think it's put aside, it's sort of brushed under the carpet, so that's something we want to talk about. I mean, the lessons from there, the communities were integrated. They were living like brothers and sisters next door to each other, and yet this happened. What would you say are the important lessons that we need to learn from what happened there?
It's difficult to believe that something like this can happen anywhere this day and age, especially. But thinking rationally, if it could happen to people that were living there, for centuries, that were of the same sort of background and creed, then the logic leads us to the conclusion that it could potentially happen in any community. So the lessons are we need to sort of do what Remembering Srebrenica charity is doing, remembering these things, bringing it back into the limelight and mentioning it to the people, to children, having events like we had this week and going to be happening this week around the country, doing more to remember within our own communities, getting masjids involved, getting madrasas involved, mentioning to children of our own community, so that they know that if this happened in Europe, in Europe, what we call a Europe, only
in our own back door.
In our own back door, yes. 24 years ago, then who's not to say,
But I mean, in terms of the community's response, right? One of the issues, the accusation in this country is, there's not enough integration between communities. But you are an integrated community, as you say, right?
That's right.
But nationalism can be a very dangerous tool, and this is created by nationalism, wasn't it? Patriotism. Somebody comes up and says, "I'm English, I'm pure, and these guys are alien," and that's how it happens. So we need to be aware of that, and we need to make sure that we always guard against it. But in the sense of the Muslim community in general, I know we said that we're not so totally aware or in tune with what is happening. You talked about imams. Young imams are much more conscious, they're much more aware. But what about, we have children going to madrasa. What can we do in the madrasas? Should they be declaring the 11th of July, for example, in every madrasa as a Remembering Srebrenica Day? So, every child who goes to a madrasa in this country, on that particular day, the 11th of July, they will dedicate that to the memory of the 8,300 people or so who were butchered.
That will be a very good initiative for madrasas and masjids to take on board, because children very easily they can relate to what happened in Srebrenica and Bosnia, because information is there on the internet, it's on YouTube, they can do research on it, and they're more inclined to find more information about what's happened, and they get more interested about it. So therefore, I think it's important that our masjids and madrasas they take the ownership of it as well, and they also pass the ownership to the young people, saying, look, this happened, just around the corner. 2 hours flight from Leeds Bradford, and and the chances that we need to learn lessons from it and how we can stop that happening in this country as well. The lesson obviously is that you need to be more smart, you need to be more proactive, and you need to develop your own initiatives too. You can't, you see, one of the unfortunate things in our community, which I'm part of here as well, we expect everything to be done for us. Yeah, and even this is a mattress, will not take it to skip. For example, I mean, some people will not take it to skip. They leave it outside, somebody will come and take it for us, you see. Same with sending children to masjid. They will not take the ownership, just taking children to masjid and bringing them back from home, from masjid. They will do it for school, you see, but not for the masjid. Okay, so we need to take the ownership. Unless you take the ownership,
I'm smiling because I was with an extremely eminent imam today, a man with whom I have a tremendous amount of respect and who is really highly regarded and respected. He's called Maulana Raub Saab from Batley.
Okay.
I don't know whether you've met him or not. And he was telling me exactly what you just said, that as Muslims, we are not practicing Islam in the way we should.
Well, there is a verse in the Quran, you see, that Allah does not change condition of those who do not change themselves. And this is Allah is saying that to people, you see. So you have to change yourself. And unfortunately, we go into this some sort of mode where we expect everybody else to do things, but we don't do it.
Right.
We expect the masjid committee to do things, but we don't do it. We expect Imam Sahib to do things, we don't do it. It's everybody's responsibility.
Yes.
And we have to play our part in doing things, you see. And it might be that you can do better than Imam Sahib. Imam Sahib don't have enough knowledge about this area. And so we can't really rely on the information and initiatives from there.
And a lot of imams are still from back home.
Yeah, they are. I mean, to be honest, a lot of imams will not know the importance and significance of this issue. Well, they don't know what happened. You see, they might have been not, information might not be widely available in the countries they come from. But the young imams from here, they know what's happened. You see, and this is their responsibility to pass a message to younger people, to make them understand Holocaust memorial. I mean, every Jewish community, every synagogue, so they pass that information to young people.
Yes, they do.
and they have the annual remembrance, so that keep the issues alive, and they learn lessons from there, and we need to do the same as well.
Well, we don't. We need to do it, don't we? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
We need to do that because, like the Jewish community, they remember the Holocaust, and they have events surrounding the Holocaust every year, all over the country, nationally as well.
Yeah.
It's become a huge thing.
Yes,
Quite rightly
yes,
it has. And I think we need what you're saying is we need to do something similar. And remembering Srebrenica is an initiative that tries to bring that to life, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, in the sense that obviously you're very closely allied to the Council of Mosque as well and the people there. Do you think our community would accept the fact that on the 11th of July, in our mosque and madrasas, we would dominate that day as a Remembering Srebrenica Day? Would that happen, in your view? Could it happen?
It could happen.
Subhanallah, if it does happen.
It could happen, but some education work needs to be done there.
Right.
And some developmental work needs to be made them understand the importance of it. And if they do understand the importance, they will hopefully will happen, you see.
So, I mean, there you go, my brothers and sisters. Obviously, this is something that happened not too far away, many years ago. It happened on our doorstep. And there's a huge rise of nationalism and patriotism in Europe. This tide of the extreme right wing, which is moving towards the West, is a danger sign that we all need to be aware of, that we all need to be conscious of. But I think the answer to what you said, Brother Riyad said, is we have the destiny in our own hands, right? And as Javed says, people throw the kachara away outside thinking somebody else is going to take it. We need to set the example. We need to make sure that we as Muslims behave as a proper Muslims, the way Islam, the Prophet ﷺ taught us, so that when the others witness us, they will see that this is the way to live.
You see, one criticism, I mean, I'm quite open to say that, we're too much worried about, how long somebody's beard is, and how long the pajama is, and you know, and where do they, you know, tie the hand when they're reading Salah and all that, you see. But you know, there are a lot of issues which affect the community. We need to work on them, you see. Okay, and despite the differences, how long your pajama is, how long your salwar is, how long your beard is, okay, that's your personal choice. Okay, I mean, I don't have a full sunnah beard, for example, so that's my personal choice. But I think there are issues which affect the community, and the community need to come together on those issues. Education is one of them. Not just the Srebrenica, education as a whole is one issue. Without education, the community is not going to progress.
Exactly.
They're not going to prosper, you see. So you need to have education. And people, I mean, to be honest, I mean, I've been in education the last 20 years or so. And how many parents actually go inside school to find out how the child is doing? Okay, they leave that to school to sort out. Okay, and at age of 16 or 17, where the child fails, and then they blame the school, saying the school didn't do very well. But okay, then the masjid. How many? I mean, I've been to some masjids. I do a lot of work with masjids. Okay, some of the imams saying, well, I've been teaching this child for 5 years. I've never seen the parents coming in the masjid.
And I think that is a very important point. I think we as parents have failed in our responsibility to our children. We're coming to the end of the program. I hope you found this evening's program interesting. If nothing else, I hope it brings into your consciousness what happened 24 years ago, when 8,372-75 Muslim men and boys were systematically murdered, butchered, and a huge genocide was committed that many of us are not aware of. So I would strongly urge every person, Muslim or non-Muslim, to go on this Remembering Srebrenica website, learn about what happened, and learn about the atrocities that were committed, and how our brothers and sisters in Bosnia were affected. And let's pray to Allah that something similar does not befall us or any other communities. We know what's happening in China at the moment with the Muslim community. We know what's happening in Rohingya, for example. And unless and until we change ourselves, we will not see any changes taking place. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you found it interesting. Inshallah, I'll be back with you next week with another interesting program. Take care. May Allah look after you and make dua for every one of us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.